Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you, another video. All right, so I was just watching a mock draft just now, and I was looking at the Toronto Raptors at 19. I looked over, and as they were talking about the player that dude was going to choose to draft, I saw Bruce Brown, $23 million team option. The Toronto Raptors are not going to pay him $23 million. He's going to be a free agent. If I'm going to give my mid-level exception to a free agent this year, I may consider handing it over to Bruce Brown and bring him to the LA Lakers this season. I don't think he's going to get more than $23 million on the market. I don't think anybody wants to pay him anything like that. He had a solid season with the Pacers, but nothing like what he had with the Denver Nuggets. Now, he very well may go back to Denver, and if I'm Denver, I'm going to try to get him back. But if I'm the Lakers, who he's had his eye on for 2 years, we've had our eye on him. That's the exact type of free agent I think the Lakers need to be trying to pick up as we are intending to stay in this win now timeline. Obviously, we're expected to lose somebody in the shooting guard position or the point guard position. I don't think he's a point guard, but you definitely want to bring him in if you're going to lose size like Rui Hachimura or Austin Reeves or somebody. If I'm bringing in Trae Young, I need my Bruce Brown piece. If I'm losing the size of guys like D'Angelo Russell and Rui Hachimura and maybe even Austin Reeves, depending on what type of trade we make, I'm going to want Bruce Brown. And I like the idea of putting Bruce Brown next to Donovan Mitchell if for some reason we make that type of move, because Donovan Mitchell, in my mind, is a lead guard. And if we force him to play point guard, I don't think we'll be hurting for doing so. Plus, you got LeBron James, the off-ball playmaker. Bruce Brown and Donovan Mitchell, I think, could play in the backcourt together. Big body dudes. Donovan Mitchell's a bit on the short side, so having a big body, taller player at the shooting guard position who plays defense can only double down on the size and girth that you provide your backcourt. I like the idea of having beefy backcourt, heavy dudes that are likely going to push around everybody but be quick enough to guard people. So I don't see too many scenarios where I don't want Bruce Brown on this team in the offseason. I don't see too many scenarios. If we're keeping what we're having, I want to bring in Bruce Brown. If we're moving and mortgaging everything for a shooting guard or a point guard, I want Bruce Brown. So I'm just letting people know right now, Bruce Brown, that the chances that Toronto picks up his option probably 0%. I just don't see any world where a rebuilding team is picking up $23 million for that player. There's no way in hell. So I think it's a chance that he's on the move, and there are going to be a lot of suitors, but I think the Lakers should be heavy on his phone line, man, trying to get him on the team, man. I think that should be something we're trying to do. And if we do land Donovan Mitchell or we do land Trae Young, I think that's the perfect complementary piece either way. I really do. And like I said, I can't stress this enough. I love the idea of having heavy point guards, shooting guard combination, because we had so much trouble with Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell not being physical enough and being strong enough to keep up with people, not being fast enough to keep up with the fast guards out there like De'Aaron Fox and etc. You put Donovan Mitchell and Bruce Brown next to one another in that shooting guard, point guard position. That's like 400 pounds worth of people, 450 pounds. I mean, they're both heavy as hell. And I just think that holds a lot of weight when you're talking about offensive rebounding. You saw how good things looked when Josh Hart was down there rebounding the ball for the New York Knicks. A lot of intense focus is put on making sure that your centers are big, but not as much emphasis is put on making sure you have big shooting guards and point guard combinations. The Laker team that I watched when I first started, well, a couple years after I started really getting into the team after we traded away Nick Van Exel, we had Ron Harper. Ron Harper was like 6'7" at the point guard position next to Kobe Bryant. It was one of the reasons why we won the championship against the Pistons, because we had that big guard down there. Phil Jackson was a big fan of big guards, and you can win with them dudes. And guards are getting bigger. When you talk about who you have to guard in this league right now, Ant-Man and these different guys that are coming in who are bigger, Brandon Miller playing shooting guard and all these different players that are bigger, you're going to want your Bruce Brown and bigger point guards, shooting guard combinations, LaMelo Ball, guys like that who have height on them. You don't want to take no 6'1" guy and then that's it. And then your shooting guard has, no girth either. This is the problem we had last year, as I've already mentioned. So I'd like to, you don't want to overcorrect. We often talk about overcorrection. You don't want to do that. But if I have a chance to bring Bruce Brown in here to kind of get away from that Austin Reeves D'Lo type dynamic, that's exactly what I'm dreaming of the Lakers doing. Plus, you keep him out of the Denver Nuggets' hands, and that's a big deal too. So, yeah, go after Bruce Brown if in the event that Toronto does what I think is inevitable, which is declining that $23 million. Give him whatever $15 million player option, not player option, mid-level exception or something like that. I think that makes a lot of sense for what it is I think this team should be trying to do in retooling in the event they're trying to keep this timeline. Now, if we're moving on from the timeline, then obviously I have an entirely different thought about what type of players we need to bring in. Bruce Brown's too much of a win-now player for a rebuilding timeline, but it doesn't look like rebuilding is reality. So I think that's the type of piece I would want to add to the situation. If I'm going to throw out a hunk of change on a player, if it's not a center for which we really need, then Bruce Brown is probably the ideal piece that I would want the Lakers to add to the situation. A big guard could play both sides, put a lot of pressure on the rim, hit open three-point shot, defend the hell out of the ball with a lot of weight to push people around. That is exactly what I need in my backcourt. So that's pretty much what I got to say, man. Hope everybody's enjoying their day. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.